Hi everybody, so a very warm welcome to all of you, and today we are going to start with the first chapter in physics. Okay, so I have the book Concepts of Physics open with me, and today we will be dealing with the chapter force. So this is the first chapter, and I will give a very short video so that each day we will be posting some small topics, and you will get an opportunity to look into those topics and come back to us with questions. So we are just trying to cover very small portions so that it will be easy for you to grasp and come back. Okay, so if you respond in a very good way, then we'll be encouraged and we'll be posting longer videos, and this will be a continuous trend. Okay, so your support is needed. So let us start. Now starting with the definition of force. Okay, so what is force? As it is written in your book, force is an external reason. It is a physical cause which changes or tends to change either the size, shape of the body or the state of rest or motion of the body. So force is an external reason or physical cause. So it will be getting applied on the body externally, and what it will do, it will change or tends to change the attributes of the body. So what are the attributes? In your book it is mentioned size, shape of the body, or the state of rest or motion of the body. Okay, so what we have here, now there are two parts which will, first part is force either changes and second is tends to change. So let me give a very small example. Suppose we have a rubber ball and you are pressing it, so what will happen? The rubber ball's shape will get deformed. So in that case, what you have done, you have applied an external force on the ball and the ball's shape has got deformed. So in that case, the force has been successful in changing the shape of the body, that is the ball. Okay, but suppose you apply the same amount of force to a piece of rock, what will happen? There will be no change in its size and shape. Okay, so in that case, in spite of you applying the force, you have not been able to bring any change in the dimension, which is the size and shape of the rock. So in that case, the second part applies, that force tends to change. Maybe it is not successful in changing, but it will try to change the size and shape, or in short, dimensions of the body. Okay, or the state of rest or of motion of a body. So suppose a body is moving and you apply brakes, what will happen? It will decelerate and it will come to rest in a few moments. So in that case, the application of brakes, that is an external force, has brought about a change in the state of motion of the body. But suppose you kick a ball, what will happen? Currently it is in a state of rest, but once you kick it, it will start moving and its state changes from rest to motion. Okay, so what we understood from here, force is an external reason or a physical cause. Physical means actual, it is not imaginary. Okay, so it is an external real cause which either change, as in the case of ball, its shape and size, or tends to change, as in the case of a rock, tends but does not change, or the state of rest or motion of a body. So I hope this definition is clear to you. If you have any questions, you are free to post your questions in the comment section of this video, or you can post your questions by giving the session name and your question number in WhatsApp group. Okay, so you are free to do that. Next, they have categorized force into two types: contact forces and non-contact forces. So what are contact forces? Contact forces means there is a physical contact between the external thing which is applying the force and the body on which it is getting applied. So suppose you are writing on the board with a pencil. So what is happening? You are pressing the pencil against the board and then you are able to write. So that is there is a physical contact between the pencil and the board. Similarly, once you are opening the bottle, then you hold the cap and you move it. So in that case, how the bottle is getting opened? You are actually making a contact with the bottle. So those are called contact forces. Numerous examples are there in your book. Frictional force. So when frictional force comes into place, it comes into being when a body starts moving, it tries to oppose its motion, right? The direction of force of friction is always opposite to the direction of motion. Okay, so that is an example of a contact force. When two surfaces contact, then force of friction comes into play. Now another category is the non-contact forces. So in that case, there is no physical contact between the external cause which is applying the force and the body on which the force is getting applied. So suppose you are throwing a ball out of your hand. So what will happen? You have released the ball, it will go up, but after some time it will fall back again because the gravitational force will attract it towards the ground. So there is no contact between gravity and the ball, but still it is able to act on the ball and bring it back to the ground. Okay, so those are examples of non-contact forces. So hope it is clear to you. Similarly, electrical force, the protons in the nucleus and the electrons in the orbits, there is no contact between them, but there is a force of attraction between them, due to which an atom is stable. So there is no contact, but still the force is acting on the body. So those are examples of contactless forces or non-contact forces, and there are numerous examples here. Okay, so let us move. Now there are some force names which you may feel that you don't know. So for example, normal reaction force. Normal reaction force means that when a body is placed on a surface, for example a book that is placed on a table, then what will happen? The force of gravity will pull the book downwards. But does the book fall to the ground? No, because there is one force which is acting opposite to gravity, and that is the normal reaction force. Okay, and the direction is perpendicular to the surface. Remember that normal reaction force always acts perpendicular to the surface. So this is the surface, this is the perpendicular, it will act upwards, and gravity acts downwards towards the center of the earth. So what is the direction of gravity? Towards the center of the earth, and normal reaction perpendicular to the surface on which the body is placed. So these two forces, normal reaction acting in the up direction and gravity acting in the wrong direction, both of them balance each other, so that the net force, net means total force acting on the body, is zero, and that is why it does not move in any direction. Okay, so this is example of normal reaction force. Similarly, you have the example of tension force. So suppose you have a pendulum. In that case, again the gravity is pulling it downwards, but is it falling? No. So what will happen? This is the tension force in the string which is pulling it upwards, right? So tension force and gravity both balance each other, and the pendulum is at rest in between. Now you can question me, sir, then what is the difference between normal reaction and tension? So tension force comes into play when a body is suspended using strings or anything, rope or anything, when it is suspended. And normal reaction force comes into play when a body is placed on a surface, it is not suspended. Example, a book on a table. Okay, so this is the difference between the two forces, but the thing is same. They act opposite to gravity, and they have to balance the object on which they are acting, so that the body is in equilibrium. Equilibrium means it is in a stable position. So equilibrium will be learning later in another chapter. So as of now, I think it is enough for this session. If you have any doubts, then you are free to post your questions on WhatsApp group, or you can better comment on in this video, so that it will be easy to track. And even if you come back after 1 or 2 months, you will have the written comment section which you can refer. Okay, so depending on how many doubts you have, I will be creating a separate video, and I will try to club all your questions from you, and I will post the answers of each and every one of them as far as possible. So let us try to cooperate one another, and then if we cooperate in a good manner, then we'll be able to cover the syllabus, and we'll be doing it in a very confident way. Okay, thanks everyone.